Hello, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora Stefrak with Translucent Truth Yoga, here to deliver you the weekly intuitive energy update for the week of January 30th, 2023. So welcome back if you have been here before, and welcome if you are new. So the way that these energy updates work is that I have created them in a way so that I've created a bank of information, a bank of oracles that you can go to at any time. I'm creating them every week so that we can stay up to date with the energies, but it's also a way so that you can go back and ask your higher self for guidance and go and listen to any of the videos, and there'll be all the information that you're going to need there. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of creating this content, is so that over time I can create it as it's coming through. And then you guys can also understand how to use all of these spiritual understandings in a practical way, because each week I'm really going to be talking about the same stuff, but in different ways, because there's going to be different aspects that are going to be coming together and going apart and different things like that, right? So that is really the intention with these, is to create a space for you to come to when you are needing guidance. Okay, so I have a lot here, and I want to get through it all in a timely manner. So I'm just gonna go through what I have. It's like 3-4 pages long, with some things I want to read from online. So it's a lot, but you'll see how it all ties together and why I have to talk about it all, because there's just a lot happening. There's just so much happening, and the time really is now. I know you've been hearing it, but here I am. It was just 2:02 on the time, so the time is now. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is just where we're at really in time, and kind of what we just kind of went through. So we're at the end of January right now. I'm recording this on February 1st. It's the Wednesday of this week. My energy updates are a mirror. That's why I'm intuitive. And so when these things are happening and I'm like, I'm not getting the nudge to do, it was just 234, 235, to do my update, that means that I don't have the right information yet. And believe me, this week was definitely worth waiting, because for starters, I wasn't really in a good headspace Monday, and I was just gonna not talk astrology, not really talk much, and just talk more about our human experience and pull some cards and give more guidance on that. But the universe had other plans for us. So we are at the end of January right now. Our first month is down for 2023. So at the beginning of January, it was our solar new year. And so, which is from 2022 to 2023, that is one lap of the sun through all the astrological signs, which creates one cycle, right? And so that is what the new year is. It's the cycle of the sun. And so that just happened at the beginning of January. And this is significant because the sun energy is related to masculine energy, logical, it's extroverted and very action oriented. And if you remember, if you've been keeping up with this month, you'd know that that's the energy that we've been in. Our masculine has been really activated to take action, precise action, to take divinely guided action, to listen and then take action, instead of the ego thinking it always needs to be doing. We were asked to slow down and get the message and then do, right? So again, it is a balance between the masculine and feminine, but it was very masculine oriented because of all of the external action that we were taking. Mars, Mercury, and Uranus all went direct this month, and so that's signifying this forward momentum, which again, the Mars, Mercury, those are the masculine energies there, about communication and all about that action energy, our fire, right? So having these 3 planets going direct this month, it's signifying forward movement, but also we're having all of the planets be direct for the next 3 months. And this is really significant because it doesn't happen often. There'll usually be one planet that is, lagging behind or whatever, but right now we have 3 months from the last week of January of this forward movement. So that means that no planets are going to be in their backward moving motion. So that means like whenever anything's in that energy, that means like we feel that energy. We feel like a pullback, like, okay, we're going back, we're looking at old lessons, we're kind of opening up our Pandora's box of whatever that planet is and whatever that sign is, right? And so that's not happening right now, and all our planets are like, woohoo, yeah, we're going the right way. And so that's encouraging us to also feel that momentum forward and to like ride the wave of it, right? Like the cosmos, the universe is saying, hey, hop on. Are you gonna surf or what? Like, you want to learn, or are you just gonna sit on the beach and watch? Which both are fine. What do you want to do, right? And so with that being said, we also have these new moons that I talked about. Hey, it was just 6:06 on the time. So the new moons, there's 5 consecutive new moons that are occurring at 1 degree. Last week I went way more into it. This is significant because 1 numerologically is all about new beginnings. It's like the fool's journey. It's taking the first step, right? It's stepping into the unknown. And so we're in this midway point. We just had that new moon in January that was the 3rd one of the 5. And so we're about at that halfway middle point, the peak of it. And now we're going to be kind of going through to the other 2, and that'll be the full activation. And then we'll feel from those 5 moons the full activation, which this has to do with like the Aquarian energy that's coming through as well, and that Capricorn energy prior to it that was helping us to reconstruct our foundation. And then the Aquarian energy is like giving us the inspiration and the energy and the momentum to really like put that plan into action and to embody what it is that your higher self is calling you to do. Okay, so I have, so all planets move direct for 3 months from the last week of January, coinciding with the 1 degree new moon activations occurring. Last 1 degree new moon will happen March 2023, and all planets will be direct until Mercury goes retrograde in Taurus on April 21st. Okay, so April 21st is when we have all the planets that will be moving forward until that's when Mercury is going to go retrograde in Taurus, which is so interesting because Mercury is all about like communication, and Taurus is all about, it's an earth sign, it's very grounded, it's rooted. And so it'll be very interesting to see, like, maybe we'll be revisiting, kind of everything that we've just been through for all this direct energy. Because here's the thing, guys, like the reason that we just went through such a dense period of the universe saying, hey, slow down, like really think about it, really know, like, what's your intention, where's your energy at, where's your focus, like these are the things that are coming into your awareness. And there was no really forward movement. Like, it was really frustrating, and it was like, well, it doesn't really matter what I do, like I keep hitting this block. And so now that energy has been lifting in January, and now we're in this forward moving energy. And so in January, I highly recommended and suggested that you slow down a little bit so that you knew and you could be aware of when things are coming into your field, so that if you're gonna have it come in, it's gonna magnify, right? And so is it good or is it not? Is it of service or is it of not, right? I didn't like the word good there. And so yeah, like that's the energy that we've been playing with. And so now that this energy is forward moving, and we're going to be supported and instantly manifesting and having all these great, amazing, beautiful things come through because we're in alignment, there's forward movement, and there's all this amazing energy that's supporting us to step into our Aquarian energy and our Leo energy. I haven't even got there yet, but there's so much energy that's supporting us to really step into our authentic self and really own who we are, and to realize that the shadow aspects we all have, but that's not who we are, right? And so these next 3 months, we're going to have this forward movement, but you're really going to be having to remind yourself to be intentional and to take divinely guided action as you're moving forward, right? Don't lead from the head, lead from the heart. And then I was laughing because when Mercury goes retrograde in Taurus on April 21st, that's when we're going to have our Judgment Day. Oh, that's interesting that I just said that. Okay. Well, that's the resurrection. Okay, interesting. So that's when we're going to have our Judgment Day, which is how have we been communicating to each other on Earth, right? And you'll see why this is so crazy that I just said that, because once I start explaining all the other stuff, you're going to be like, holy shit. Okay, so that is that. So Mars went direct. Oh yeah, okay, this is significant too. So Mars went direct on January 12th. It's now in its post-shadow period, which means that it's not fully direct yet, and it's still kind of got that backward energy, but it's picking its energy back up. And that's until March 15th. And so that is like, I don't know, I think like 6 weeks away or so. And it's transitioning from Gemini into Cancer. And so like Mars is very masculine. It's masculine energy. It's all about action. It's very fiery energy, and passionate. And so it's transitioning from Gemini into Cancer. Now Gemini is like all about the head. It's like this, it's the twins, and so they're continually like going back and forth and sharing their ideas and like just kind of in the head, like, yeah, talking, hanging out up there. And the Cancer rules the home, rules the heart. And so what this is doing is Mars, again, is the action-oriented energy. And so we're going from this mental action-oriented energy, and we're dropping into our heart energy for our action-oriented energy, right? And so we're transitioning out of this Gemini mind mental energy, duality, polarity, into our heart center, that Cancer energy of being home again, right? So that's really interesting in our actions, right? And so that's March 15th. Now this is a whole rabbit hole here, because March 15th is very significant. And now when I was doing this, I was just checking out the astrology, and then I like spent hours learning about March 15th because I knew that it was a significant day. And so I looked it up, and I knew it had to do with Julius Caesar, because I read Shakespeare when I was in high school. This is how the guru works. He leaves you funny, interesting things all along, because beware the Ides of March. This has been something that was programmed on a soul level for me to find right here, right now, so that I could explain this information to you. So it's just very wild and fascinating how these energy updates just blow my mind. So beware the Ides of March. This is Julius Caesar's assassination was March 15th, 44 BC. I knew that wasn't enough for me. I'm like, yeah, well, I know that the Ides March has to do with Julius Caesar, but like, why? Like, why? And so I ended up finding out that the Ides of March, before Julius Caesar acclaimed the day, was actually a celebration of the Roman goddess Annapurna. Okay, and now this is a whole rabbit hole that we're going to go down, because it's significant to understand these are timelines that I'm speaking of, okay? So like when I'm explaining these things to you, I want you to conceptualize it as a timeline, okay? So like you think of like Julius Caesar's timeline, and then you can think of Annapurna's timeline. And so the end and the beginning is on the Ides of March, right? Which is Annapurna's timeline ended and Julius Caesar's ended. The feminines ended and the masculines began. Ended. Okay, I see where my mistake went there. Ended, I said Julius Caesar ended, but that means that the masculine energy in the collective was planted, right? Because now in the collective energy, when you hear March 15th, that's the Ides of March. That's Julius Caesar's day that he got assassinated, right? And so that's called a hijacking of the day, or it's called a transitional day, right? It depends on your perspective, because my lower self wants to say, oh man, like, they hijacked the feminine energy and blah, blah, blah. But like, really, that's a lower perspective and understanding. And the higher perspective is that it's just a transitional day, and it was always going to be that day. That's why it's programmed into the fabric of our reality, right? And so beware the Ides of March, right? And so with the Ides of March, I want to go into Annapurna. And so this is a Roman goddess. And Anna means annual, and oh, this is interesting. I was like, what? I have two different timelines. Of course, makes sense. So for the Roman goddess Annapurna, like when you follow the etymology, the origin of these words, that's where we get annual and perennial in plants, right? Like Anna is annual and Perna is perennial, right? And so that's from following the Roman goddess. But when we follow the Hindu tradition, Annapurna actually means Anna meaning food and Purna meaning filled completely, okay? So you can see how two different languages and two different lenses can give you a complete different understanding of but the same as well. They complement each other, but of this same deity, this same energy, right? And so Annapurna is the goddess of the food and the kitchen. She rules health, food, and the new year. So she represents the circular and cyclical nature of the year and of its new beginnings, hence her association to the new year, March or spring. And again, this is significant because our new year used to start in March. We actually only used to have a 10-month year, but I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just telling you guys that so that you are aware that January and February actually haven't always existed, and that January was actually not actually even the beginning of the year. And when you think about it and when you connect into nature, it actually just makes perfect sense that March is the beginning of the year, because that's when everything's coming back to life. That's the resurrection of life force energy, right? And so that is what Annapurna is representing. So that's why I say in the, when you go back, I think it's like Latin or Greek or something, that the annual and the perennial would be connected to. And then when you follow the Hindu or Sanskrit understanding, then it means food or filled completely. And so I'm going to go more into that story because this just blew my mind. Okay, so in the Hindu tradition, Annapurna is an avatar of Parvati, who was the wife of Lord Shiva, goddess of nourishment, not only of food, but of knowledge and wisdom, helping consciousness expand to higher levels of enlightenment. And so now I'm going to read this story because it's significant to a really big lesson that I'd like to get into with you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to read the story to you guys, and I'm not really going to go into philosophizing about it because I just want you to understand why this is so significant, the Ides of March, okay? This is Annapurna's day. This is the day that we celebrate Annapurna, food and nourishment. Okay, so Goddess Annapurna's story. Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati used to play the game of dice. Once they were playing, and the game became very interesting. They started betting. Parvati kept her jewels, and Shiva kept his trident. Shiva lost the game, and he lost his trident. So in the next game, he bet his snake, to get back the trident. He lost in this game too. He played more and bet more and kept on losing. Eventually, he lost everything, including his begging bowl. Shiva felt very humiliated and went to Deodar forest to meet Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu approached Shiva, who told him everything about what had happened. Lord Vishnu then told Shiva to play the game again. He told him that he will win back everything he had lost in the next game. Shiva took Lord Vishnu's advice and went back to play the game again. Goddess Parvati became suspicious of Shiva's sudden turn of fortunes that led him to win back everything. She called him a cheat. This led to an argument between the two of them. Finally, Lord Vishnu appeared as he could not take the fight anymore. He told him that the dice in the game had moved according to his wish, and they were only under an illusion that they had been playing. To this, Shiva added that everything materialistic was an illusion, or Maya. Everything that was possessed was an illusion. Even the food we ate was Maya. This made Goddess Pavati angry. She did not agree that food was an illusion. She said that calling food an illusion was equivalent to calling her an illusion. So in order to show Lord Shiva and the world her importance, she disappeared, saying that she wanted to see how the world would survive without food. Her disappearance meant that nature came to a standstill. There were no changes in season. Everything became barren. The lands became infertile. Nothing grew anymore. This led to severe drought and a huge shortage of food. The gods, humans, and demons all kept praying for food. Goddess Pavati heard the prayers, and she could not see her children perish out of hunger. So she appeared in Kashi, Varanasi, and started distributing food. Shiva realized his mistake in the fact that he was incomplete without Shakti. So he appeared before Goddess Pavati in Kashi with a begging bowl in his hand. He said to her that he realized his mistake and that food could not be dismissed as an illusion, and it was required to nourish the body as well as the inner soul. Since the Goddess Pavati is worshipped as the goddess of food, Annapurna Devi, shit, I forget how to say that word. It is believed that if the food is cooked with a spirit of holiness, it becomes sacred as Annapurna blesses it. And then I'll just want to show you guys, this is her that they have here. Okay, so that is the story. And so it's significant because this all came through because I was talking about this Mars energy, this masculine energy, right? And I was talking about Julius Caesar. There's that masculine energy like taking over, but then we're going from Gemini into Cancer, right? So from the head to the heart. And so that's what this is signifying, that this Ides of March, this is the Ides of March that is the forward movement. And it makes sense because we're in 2023, and 23 is all about forward movement, and 7 is the numerology for 2023, which is all about our spiritual connection. So like, I mean, it all makes sense and it's all written there, but you know, not many have this perspective that I have. So I'm trying to offer that to you guys. Yeah, so basically that story I read to you guys to give you guys the understanding of this deity so that we can understand what's going to be being activated and offered for the collective on March 15th, okay? And so on the Ides of March, on the celebration day of Annapurna, which is the goddess of food and knowledge, right? And wisdom, helping consciousness reach higher states of enlightenment, right? And so like the Julius Caesar is like an analogy for the beginning of that masculine energy taking over, and this Annapurna is now saying, hey, now it's my turn, right? And so again, like, that's why I said it's not really about like the dark energy taking over or whatever. It's just like, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here. And so now it's her time, now it's his time, now it's her time, now it's his time, right? And so we play that dance. And so it's really as simple as that. And so now we are actually going to be gifted with all this beautiful knowledge and wisdom and abundance of knowledge so that we can reach higher states of enlightenment. Okay. So I'm actually now going to talk about the end of January here because this is significant. Just quickly, I wanted to talk about the Lunar New Year because I talked about the Solar New Year. So at the beginning of 2023, that's the beginning of the Solar New Year, and the beginning of the Lunar New Year, which is the moon, happened just on January 21st, okay? And that's because the astrological clock starts at Aquarius. And that's just the marker where we were at, right? And so that is the new year for the moon. And so that's significant because the moon represents the feminine energy, and so the sun is the masculine energy, and that is the beginning of the year. The masculine got activated. Now, 3 weeks later, the feminine, the moon, now she's activated, and so we now have like these parallel timelines of masculine and feminine being activated, right? And so that's kind of why I keep talking and bringing all these in, right? Because like with the Julius Caesar and the Annapurna, right? And so And so there's really this beautiful activation and union and dance that's happening right now between the masculine and feminine, which is the Kundalini energy, which is actually, Evan Shoutout said that the green comet last night actually was something about activating the green dragon Kundalini energy of the earth. So like, he's my alphanumeric code guy, so I trust him. And so if he tells me that the earth's Kundalini energy is activating, who am I to say when I feel it all inside me too? And I've been working so long for it. So again, there's that feminine energy activating. So it's our feminine, it's our emotional introspection, it's our activation of our divine feminine, right? And so honoring our emotions, dropping into our heart, being softer, being kinder, right? So these two timelines just got activated, the sun and the moon, and they are significant because we're having all of these mirrors and parallels of the same things, the masculine and feminine coming together. Okay, now it's over here coming together. And so all these aspects are starting to align and come together, right? And that's why the next 3 months we're going to have this beautiful forward movement. Okay. So now, my goodness, here we go. This is going to be hectic. Okay, so basically now I'm going to be going into another activation, actually, more activations. So this goes way back now, really, to last July 22nd, 2022. Okay, so that's 7/22/2022. So there's 7/2. So many sevens, or so many twos, and a 7. And I'm mentioning this because this is significant for something I'm going to read to you about 17 and 22 with the activation of the feminine. Or spirit, I would say, like higher consciousness, which is the same. But when I say the feminine, I just want you guys to know those are really interchangeable. Okay, so yeah, Magdalene's feast day. This is the day, July 22nd, 2022, Magdalene's feast day. So, it says to read the twin flame report. Okay, so where is that? So in this is a woman that I followed for a while, Jen McCarty, and I was going down all these rabbit holes, and I actually think I read this exact thing last year to you guys. She posted this on July 14th, 2022, titled Twin Flame Ascension Report, Full Moon in Capricorn and the Magdalene Feast Day Report. There's that Capricorn energy coming through. So I'm going to read this because I want you guys to just get this understanding that she's written here, and she does it better than me. Okay, so dear beautiful brothers and sisters, we come forward in this moment of your time with much news to share with you, ever-evolving humanity. We have just come out of the extremely potent and life-changing 7/7 portal, and the energies that have been pouring into the earth due to the alignment with the star system Sirius have been unprecedented. We are also in the aftermath of the extremely powerful and potent full moon in Capricorn, which has affected everybody in the ascending community. This powerful full moon has brought up huge remnants of individual and collective shadow aspects which needs to be transmitted and brought home to divine light. There is a huge emphasis currently on really deeply feeling our feelings in order to transmit them and make different choices that are not based on unconscious programming. Please know that as we align on a planetary basis towards the 8/8 portal, the energies are definitely going to intensify as the light of the Sirius sun continues to burn down on us, illuminating our paths and exposing all of our shadows. Every year around the time of this portal, the pyramids and the Sphinx line up with the central Sirius sun. I call that the greater central sun. That when I say the greater central sun, this activates a dispensation of spiritual light into the Earth's atmosphere, enabling us all to radically heal ourselves of the core trauma and truly stabilize and become one with our higher self. This 7/7 portal is potentially the most powerful Sirian gateway we have experienced as a collective consciousness. We did We did phenomenal work in the 7/7 transmission, particularly with the area in Switzerland, where there were nefarious activity taking place. We removed the statue of the god Shiva, which was put there for malevolent purposes, and replaced it with a statue of Yeshua and Magdalene, symbolic of sacred union, divine love, and creation energy in its most potent form. We also activated a ladder of golden light into the heavens, and we opened up an angelic portal, ensuring that the angelic realm would be the guardians and protectors of this sacred site. I'm very confident that the work that we did in the 7/7 transmission has 100% sealed this portal closed forever. Oh my god, this is going to make me cry. And no malevolent or nefarious energies will be allowed to enter into Earth's atmosphere from this portal. The energies now are moving toward the Magdalene feast day and the day at a time. This is an opportunity for us to deeply honor the sacred divine feminine and to hold a ceremony whereby she, the Queen of Heaven, is fully honored. Is fully honored for all the amazing gifts that she brings to us on an internal level and an external level. We will be working with the energies of Mary Magdalene and the sacred Magdalene flame that burns within us all, men, women, and children. And I want to add animals. And we will be working to empower, stimulate, and stabilize that flame as its highest, most optimal level. In the Magdalene Feast Day ceremony, we will ensure that the divine feminine energy is anchored into all of the sacred sites on the earth, and that the true divine feminine codes can be experienced, released, and activated within all divine feminines incarnated alive. There are many other wondrous aspects to the Magdalene transmission which will be revealed in due course. This is a huge twin flame gateway that we are currently in, and I am constantly receiving emails about people finally receiving contact from their twin flame after a period of separation. Everyone on the twin flame path must work deeply with the law of assumption. Whatever you are assuming is the reality that you are co-creating with your twin flame. If you want to have a shift in your experience, then shift your assumptions. Assume that your twin flame is available now, is following you on social media, and is prepared to contact you. The more you can stand in the vibration of assumption, the more you fast track your sacred union. Please see the 7/7 transmission. I speak deeply about the law of assumption and how to apply this to our lives. Always remember that we are the ones that we have been waiting for and praying for. We are the galactics returned back to this lifetime to fulfill the promise to release the earth back to its golden age glory. Each of us has been handpicked due to our specific spiritual gifts, and we are all here at this time to ensure victory for Mother Earth and all her children. Have no fear. Fear is the absence of love. Only love exists. I hope to see you all on the Magdalene transmission on the 22nd of July. Please see below for all the details. In love and eternal light, Jenny and the White Wolf Tribe. Genji and the White Wolf Tribe. So that's what I was talking about for this Magdalene Feast Day activation. So again, like there's that masculine and feminine coming together. So that was, when was that? July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So like 6 months ago? Feels like longer. Yeah. Oh no, that makes sense. Yeah, so 6 months ago. Okay, so yeah, so that was the activation of the sacred union of the masculine and feminine. Now, actually, funnily enough, me and my partner got together around that time, and then now it's been like really intense, and we're finally kind of coming out of the purification process, actually, is really what it is. And that's exactly what I want to talk about with this energy, is that like we had activation. I say it's a Kalima activation, which Kalima is the protector. So she slays all evil. She will find evil and eradicate it, and it doesn't matter how it goes, it's gone. And so that's what happened inside of me and inside of all of us back on Magdalene's feast day, is that this purification energy activated within us, which then started the process of purifying our mind, body, soul. And it's a really uncomfortable process. And so this is also why the last 6 months has been so intense, because we've gone from, like, she was talking about assumption, right? This law of assumption, and what that, I'm going to assume what that means. I never listened to her thing, but what I'm going to assume that means, assume, is that the human is natural default is to assume. It has to, because in order to function in a reality with so many variables, like, it needs to assume, like, it's assuming like this is an earring and this is a nose and this is an ear, but it's correct, but it also is assuming that, right? So what she's saying is to use that assumption energy and to make sure that you're assuming good things, right? So assume good things and good things will happen, right? It's that whole feedback loop of reality that I went into. Right? And so, lost my train. Oh, assumption. Yeah. So using that feedback loop. So that's basically what she's saying, I'm pretty sure, is that, like, whatever you're thinking or assuming is what is going to manifest, right? And, like, at a high speed, and especially within your relationships, right? And so, the last 6 months, we were going through this deep dark night of the soul, this deep shadow work, so that now that was the purification process. And now for these next 3 months, we get that forward moving energy. And then in 6 weeks, we have the celebration of Annapurna. And that is going to be the distribution of knowledge and wisdom again back to humanity. So, like, now you see what I mean by now's the time. Like, I'm not just saying it because it's fun. Like, I'm talking real science, if you will, that this is just the alignments of the planets, and I'm the one that receives all these messages so that I can deliver it in this way to let you know, like, wow, like, this is really profound stuff. Okay, yeah, and so, oh yes, and so to polish this off, what this represents really truly is the beginning of the end of the Piscean age. Okay, so we just are coming out of the Piscean age. Jesus represented the Christ embodiment of the Piscean age, and now we're going into the Aquarian age, okay? And so we're ending that suffering and that pain and that trauma that's happened previously to us. And that's the purification process. That's why Kalima got activated in all of us, to get rid of, eradicate evil. Evil just meaning limitations, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the word evil, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, it is evil, like impure. It's just impure. Yeah, there you go. I like it. Impure. So Kalima comes and purifies, which is eradicating the impurities, right? And so that is from any I say the Piscean age, but this is like any time before, because really the Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. So when you're in Pisces, you're actually taking all the signs and combining them as the completion, which is why the Pisces is like a very spiritual cosmic energy, because that is what it is. It doesn't have boundaries, so it has to, when it's in this body, has to learn boundaries, right? And to go, oh wait, I'm not source, like I do have a limit, I do have to make sure that this body is taken care of, things like that, right? So we're learning, we're releasing, we're shedding, we're purifying everything that isn't us so that we can step into what is. And now we're gonna get into the blue apples, okay? So this is like a whole thing, and I talked last week about it because that's the first time I heard about it, or maybe the week before, I can't remember. But the blue apples, I've been going on about the blue apples for like, a while now, it feels, but I got all the answers that I need, okay? So the blue apples, they are, it's this phenomena at this church, Rennes-le-Château. It is when light shines through stained glass. It's every year around noon on January 17th, okay? Remember I was going to say, remember I said 17 and 22 were significant numbers? This, I'm going to read you. Not yet. I just want to get these up, though, so that I can... Oh, whoa, that's too much. Okay, well, this is cool. At Rennes-le-Château, located in the wine country of southern France, these grapes of skills are called the blue apples and are the logo for the Grail hearsay. They represent the secret of immortality. They are the blue stones or the druid serpent eggs that turn on an ordinary person into a shining one, right? So this whole blue apple rabbit hole has literally led me to unlock galactic codes, like galactic codes for humanity that have been left here from previous incarnations of Christ consciousness, really. And so I can't find this one. I guess I'll just read this. I guess I'm just guided to just read 22 and 17. So the legend of Rennes-le-Château is haunted by the reoccurrence of two numbers, 22 and 17. Most frequently, they manifest as important dates in the history of the legend, particularly so with the 17th of January. But this is not always the case. No satisfactory explanation has been given for the occurrence of the two numbers. Are they significant or merely coincidence? You decide. I decide that there's no such thing as coincidence, and so I decide that it's significant. So yeah, like I'm not gonna read all these. Let me just kind of skim. What do they have? Primary occurrences of 22. The 22nd of July is Mary Magdalene's feast day. Berengar Sonder entered the seminary in Carcassonne at the age of 22. The Abbé of Rennes-le-Château, who rekindled the legend with his discovery, died on the 22nd of January in the 17th year of the 20th century, having taken ill on the 17th of January. Whoa. Abbé Saunders' Tour Magdala has 22 steps leading to the top of the tower. The lone window in Abbé Saunders' Tour Magdala, which is pointed to by an anomalous floor tile at the base of the Tour Magdala, in turn points ambiguously at a grotto approximately a mile in the distance, which is named the burial site of Mary Magdalene. Remember, her feast day is 22 and is offset from the grotto by 22 degrees south of west. Whoa, that's pretty wild. Okay, there are many others, but here are quick. Okay, so 17. So, okay, those are all things that I don't really, like, they're people and things. The feast day of the Saint Sulpice is 17th of January. Saint Sulpice is also where Abbé Saunier sought assistance in deciphering the codes parchments he uncovered in his church. Okay, so Abbé Saunier is the one that discovered the parchments. So basically the story goes that they discovered these parchments and then they created the stained glass for it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, again, I'm just learning all this stuff, but you can look into it yourself. But basically this guy, he found these like parchments that like were, and he was guided to create it, and so there's all these different synchronicities and alignments, which again, this is God, this is the guru doing all this, right? So Abbé Saunier positioned the statue of Saint Antoine, whose feast day is on the 17th, across from the statue of Mary Magdalene, whose feast day is on the 22nd, in his church of Mary Magdalene in Rennes-le-Château, right? So again, there's all these synchronicities. So 17, 22, 17, 22, 17, 22, right? So those are the two that were coming through. And so it's weird that last year was 7/22, 2022. That was the Magdalene's feast day, where I believe that the Piscean age is being dissolved now. We're in the process of that. And then January 17th, this is when the blue apple code got activated for humanity. And then I followed the blue apple code. And what is the blue apple code? Well, it is the blue rose teachings. And so the blue rose teachings are these teachings that were gifted to us from species, from higher consciousness, and we're gifted to these to like Jesus and Mary Magdalene. That's where they got that information from, and then they spread that. But the thing is that they weren't actually able to do it in a way that it had to be cryptic. They had to hide it because it needed to make it to now, right? And so they did it in this way, and the guru, like God, the universe, all of it, did it in this way so that when this information was meant to be found, it was found. And so now it's found, and that now all this information is coming through, and now you're going to start hearing more about like the blue rose teachings and blue apples, because I'm going to start a ripple in the human collective of this stuff, because this is the whole point of it, right? And so now we have access to these teachings. Like it says that they contain the secret to immortality and turning ordinary people into the shining ones, right? And so the blue apple mystery teachings are the symbol that are connecting all of the hidden secret mystery teachings, right? And so that's why it was so exciting. And again, like it's exactly what I talk about all the time, the alchemical process from taking your lower self, your human self, and making it, creating and realizing that you are divine, that you are God, right? And so like it's saying the same thing. So the secret of immortality, how do you realize that you are immortal, right? And so again, it's just about doing this spiritual work and these practices that have been planted thousands of years ago for us to now be gifted today. Okay. Okay, I only have 2 more things. Awesome. It was 45:54. Perfect timing. Okay, so that's that. I can go more into these other things later, but like I have said so much. Oh, one more thing, sorry. So with that, the blue apples are a symbol and a representation for these blue rose teachings, Magdalene's blue rose teachings. I got the download and I haven't solidified it, but it does make sense that the rose teachings are Mother Mary's, right? So they're more of a mothering energy, heart-centered, very earthy and human, whereas Magdalene's are connecting us to the cosmos, to our galactic story, right? So that's really important to understand. And so with that being said, the blue apples and the blue rose teachings being January 17th was that day that this information came through, or that this was meant to be aligned for us all to find. This is the beginning of the Aquarian age. The beginning, that is like a marker, a cosmic marker, okay? So last July 22nd, Magdalene's Feast Day 2022 was a marker for the beginning of the end of the Piscean age, and now January 17th, 2023 is the marker for the beginning of the Aquarian age, okay? That is so significant to understand. And now take all this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying in this now moment, blah, blah, blah. I'm just letting you know everything is quantum and the information's coming through. Okay, I need a drink. So, now we're going to talk about today. Today is February 1st, 2023, and every February 1st is the celebration of the goddess Bridget. Okay, and so today it is called the festival or the celebration of Imbolc. Okay, I'm pretty sure Imbolc means milk or something like that. It's about having the first I think they said lamb born, which then produces milk as well. So nourishment, right? So nourishment, okay? So let me see, what do I have here? Because I want to, I'm just going to read it, yeah, because I don't really, I used a lot of my capacity already, and I have a lot written here, so. Okay, so Imbolc is February 1st every year. This is a fire festival that is celebrating the home, hearth, and the halfway point of winter solstice and spring equinox. The days continue to grow lighter, but it is still dark and cold outside. This is a celebration of Bridget, a much beloved goddess that's role is to be the fierce protector of women, children, and newborn animals. She is the reputed midwife of Mary, the midwife to the spring, the divine woman who breathes her fiery breath upon the earth to awaken it. She encourages inspiration to start new projects, plant seeds and bulbs at this time to represent areas in our lives that we wish to nurture and grow. It's a time for healing and inspiration for poetry and creative projects. Fire in the heart and belly, inspiration and action, transformation, time for renewal. Celebrate change around and within us, and renew your commitment to making the world a better place. Honor the spark of divine creativity within us and raise healing energy. And then I have Lupercilla. What the heck is that? Let me Google that real quick. I didn't write enough, but it is important. February 15th. Okay, that's important to know. Okay, cool, because I have here mention Lupercilia. So I don't know if that's how you say it, but Lupercilia. This is another festival that's coming, and this is significant because I just read all that about Imbolc and Bridget and what she represents. That's today. And then in 2 weeks, we have Lupercilia coming in. And this is actually an ancient festival symbolizing purification, fertility, and the removal of spirits. So what did I just tell you about Kali Ma? That's exactly what she is and does. And so isn't that interesting? We're going to have another timeline collapse here of a purge, right? So we're going to have another activation this February 15th as we celebrate the Lupercilia purification, fertility, and removal of evil spirits. So lupus means wolf, right? And so I wrote that because that's really, really fascinating because of the whole story of like the black and the white wolf, and like which wolf are you feeding, the good or the bad, the light or the dark, right? And so this is, I guess, when Kali Ma comes in, or this purification energy, and fertility, and removes the spirit. So it doesn't just remove the spirit, it's also fertilizing where the spirit had impured, right? And so that's really fascinating because it's like a beautiful balance, a synergistic healing that's going to be taking place. Okay, beautiful. So that's today, guys, that we're experiencing this St. Bridget's Day, the Imbolc, where we're right in the halfway point of winter and spring is on its way. We're being inspired as the days are getting longer. It's still cold outside, but we know that summer is coming, spring is coming, the sun is coming. And so it's really a time for healing and inspiration, maybe writing some poetry, doing some creative projects, as it's encouraging us to really light a passion of fire in our heart, but also our belly. Okay, so that's beautiful little synopsis of that. So remember to honor the spark of divine creativity within you and raise your healing energy. Amazing. Okay, and last but not least, guys, I'm going into this Leo full moon. That was February 5th, I think. I don't have it written, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Okay, so yeah, February 5th. So that is in 4 days. Let me just look real quick. So that I can make sure. Okay. Oh, no. 5th. Sunday, yeah. Okay, so it's on Sunday. Okay, so this Leo full moon. So this is gonna really polish off everything that I've said. So this full moon that's coming on February 5th, that's this Sunday. The full moon really represents like a time of illumination. It's when we've planted our seed and we've given it time and patience and nourishment, and it's now growing and blooming, right? And so that could be taken in the sense of a creative project. Say you started working on something and you see it flourishes come the full moon, and then closer to the new moon, you're like, I'm having to like reconstruct and go into different areas and maybe plant some seeds here. And then the full moon comes and we watch it grow, right? So this is a time of illumination. This is a time of celebration. And so, the moon is in Leo, and Leo is actually a very solar plexus energy. It's the sun, right? Leo is the sun. It is a royal sign, and it's ruled by the sun. So when sun is in Leo, energy is more potent as it is in its home sign, okay? And so Leo actually rules the heart physiologically, and so we're going to be tapping into our passion, and we're going to be letting it all out. We're going to be taking ownership of ourselves, okay? And so with that, sorry, I'm skimming my paper as I'm channeling, so it's kind of hard. Sun is at 16. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Okay, I just had to refresh myself. Cool. So when the sun is in Leo, energy is more potent as it's in its home sign. And so Leo, the moon is at 16 degrees right now, okay? And this is significant because there's been multiple 16-degree full moons. And so the 1 in the 16 is representing the new beginnings. The 6 is representing the balance of the material and the spiritual. And then when you add 6 and 1, you get 7. And so it's our cosmic spiritual connection. And so we're getting a connection to our cosmic spiritual self. We're having new beginnings, and we're balancing our physical and material. So when I say 16 degrees, like, it's saying a lot, right? And it's also, the sun is also at 16 degrees in Aquarius. So we have this Leo energy of this royal energy, this confident, charismatic energy coming through, that's complemented by the sun being at 16 degrees in Aquarius. And so Aquarius is calling for us to step into ourselves without any limitations. Be confident in who you are. It's like the Leo is helping us to strengthen our individuality, but the Aquarius is reminding us to remember that we have a collective to take care of, right? And it's not just about us. Because that's the shadow of the Leo, is that it's all about you. And it's not. It's about all of us. But then the shadow of the Pisces is that, well, what about me? Where did I go? And all of it, right? And so you got to find the balance where you're helping, but helping yourself too. And then I have here, Uranus creates a T-square to the full moon, bringing surprising, unexpected developments to help you feel the enthusiasm, fun, and unabashed courage of this striking full moon. Number 23 is called the Royal Star of the Lion number. Now, I'm bringing this up because of this Leo energy. We're in 2023, and so bringing up that 23 energy, it's called the Royal Star of the Lion. So that's representing courage, fearlessness, leadership, standing your ground, expressing yourself, allowing the world to see your heart and your inner light. Right? So that's really what's being activated, is our self-confidence, our ability to move through the world without letting the world move us, right? And so, let me see. Okay, yeah, so it's the 5th. Here it is. It's the 5th consecutive full moon at 16 degrees. So yeah, like, that's really significant. There's that 5, and then 23 is also a 5. So I mean, like, again, 5's all about change. And so then we have the 23 representing forward movement, the 5, the 5th consecutive full moon at 16 degrees on February 25th, 2023. I mean, there's 5s and 7s and 3s and blah, 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 blah. And like, it's like, holy crap, like, all the numbers are telling us the same things over and over, just as the planets are telling us the same themes over and over. So I have the sun in Aquarius, the unexpected, the future, the collective, groups we align with, breakthroughs, inner genius, astrology, numerology, beyond the practical, and into the exploration of discovery. So this will ignite us with a sense of awareness, breakthroughs, understanding, surprises. Expect the unexpected. Trust your intuition as you receive the unexpected. So trust yourself to receive the guidance that you are in need of. Beautiful. Okay. So that is that. And then I am going to pull just a few cards here. I'm not going to go too deep. I have these decks, like, literally I'm in love with them. They are so perfect for what we're talking about today. We got the Sacred Sites, Archangel Animal, Aset Egyptian Oracle, the Power of Love, and then this herb oracle one. So I'm actually pulling from this herb oracle here. So I wanted to get us connected back in with the earth and to see what it is that we are needing, because the cosmos is a mirror of down here. And so when we're tapping into these herbs and stuff, it can also help us to grow higher in our awareness, right? Rewild plantain. Awesome. I want to see. I haven't even read these books or anything. Okay, Plantain, Rewild. If you let her, Plantain will share stories of wagon trains and ocean crossings and Alexander's shenanigans in Egypt. Given a chance, she'll make a traveler of you too, drawing you gently out of your comfort zone, moving you from safe to the edge of the wild, pushing the boundaries of civilized behavior and laughing at your scruples. It will start with a small thing. Plantain might offer a leaf to ease a sting or the itch of poison ivy. Just chew it and spit it on the bite. She'll encourage Great Aunt Hilda would have a heart attack, you think, while your inner wild child smiles gleefully at this baby step away from civilized. If Plantain appears, it's time to indulge your inner child and seek out your next adventure. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, this one was calling me. California Poppy. Resurrection. Oh wait, California Poppy. Okay, resurrection. Sometimes the day needs to disappear so you can sink into the lush blackness of of night. Sometimes your eyes, whether open or shut, need the inky darkness of forgetting. Golden Poppy lives in both sun and shadow. She opens her petals in daylight and closes them when night comes, giving in easily, knowing resurrection will come with the dawn. It's okay to sleep without dreaming. Poppy soothes, to fall asleep and to fall deep and far. Have no fear. Day will come and you'll once again stretch and unfurl. I love that. So trust in the endings, because you have a fresh start. Chickweed. All right, Chickweed, what do we have? Chickweed sings of bright beginnings, welcoming you to your path. Her tiny star-like flowers whisper, it's time. Not sure you're ready? No worries. Gently, she'll break cells open, renewing energy and life. Chickweed reminds you, wherever you are is a fine place to begin. She'll jealously demonstrate by tumbling from a possible place for new growth, from neglected farmstead flower pots to abandoned urban planters. She chips away at old ideas on a foundational level, opening your internal windows to let in fresh thoughts, sloughing off what no longer serves, what's keeping you from making the changes you crave. Perhaps you've been hauling around slowly accredited insecurities or angers, quick sliver flame. See who you are without those burdens. She suggests smiling as she guides you to begin. Oh, I love that. And then this is it. Last but not least, we're going to go with be yourself. So be yourself. That is Daisy. And I just want to say this one last thing, because I was getting it while I was reading that. I also want to note that the significance of July 22nd, 2022, because I did read it when I read that post from Jen, it was also the day of no time. And I always feel like that's the most significant part of it all, that I totally forgot, that like brings it all together. Because time, what is time? Time is subjective. And when we raise our consciousness out of separation, we actually unify with the fields, which means everything happens simultaneously. And so you can actually access any timeline at any time. And that's like what this whole Kundalini rising, this masculine feminine, are trying to show us, to remind us, oh yeah, this is who I am. Oh yeah, I'm not this suffering human. Oh yeah, I'm a beautiful being of light and consciousness that loves to explore and dance and create. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. And now you're going to remember, right? And so that is the the day of no time. And again, I'm not going to get too into it, but it is signifying the quantum aspect, the timeline collapsing that I'm referring to with the Piscean age and then the building of the Aquarian age. That's like one moment in time, the Big Bang, right? Happening simultaneously, right? Okay, so that was significant. So if you're curious, you can look into Magdalene's feast day. You can look into the day at a time. Those will give you significant things. And then January 17th, Blue Apples, Renée Le Chateau Church in France, if you want to know more about that. And then if you want to know more about the actual teachings, then you can like Google the Blue Rose lineage teachings. And I don't know if you'll be able to find it. I guess it depends if you're meant to right now, right? Okay, so I'm going to polish off by just reading this. So be yourself. Daisy. Daisy comes from a huge family. Her sisters, chamomile, echinacea, boncet, feverfew, and milk thistle, just to name a few, are among our greatest healers. Luckily, Daisy learned early on that the best way to distinguish herself was simply to be herself. So despite her tomboy appearance, with white petals often tatty or rumpled, and her status as the most common of medicines, she'll heal a bruise and quiet inflammation, but nothing like her cousin Arnica. She's Arnica, Montana, important to know. She's a favorite guest. She persistently finds her way into our homes and gardens to remind us over and over again that loving ourselves is as we are is the best, the very best medicine. Beautiful, and it was just 10555. So I am out here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sending you so much love, and I am excited to show up next week. All the love. Talk to you soon. Bye.